In this section, we're going to touch on two topics. We're going to talk about using the select statement to do math. All right, so we're going to do very basic math functions. And I also want to talk about subqueries, which is basically a query within a query. And I'm doing these two things together because some of the subqueries that I'm going to do involve math functions. I think that's the easiest and the friendliest way to show you. So I'm going to go to my SQL window, and we're going to do some very basic math. Alright, so we're going to say select, and we'll say 1 plus 2. Alright, so you can see here we have the actual equation as the table header, and then we have the answer here. And of course we can do subtraction, multiplication. We can actually do all of them if we go like this. We'll say select 1 plus 1, and then comma, parentheses, we'll say 8, take away 2. And this one we'll say 4 times 3, and then we'll have 10 divided by 2. Alright, so if we run that, we get 4 columns with the equations and the answers. Alright, pretty easy stuff. Alright, so aside from arithmetic, we can get rounded value, we can round numbers. So we'll say select, actually we want to say select round, and then in here we'll say 2.5, and let's say round negative 2.5. Okay, if we run that, we get our rounded off to 3 and negative 3. I know this is probably extremely boring and simple, but I just want you to know what's available to you if you need it. Obviously, you're not going to use these queries on their own. You might work them into your application somehow. I don't know. Let's select the absolute value of negative 5. So we get 5. Alright, so now let's use some math with our table, with one of our tables, and I want to use the price field. So we'll say select, let's select max from price, and that's going to be from the products table. Select max price, and we get 500. And I'm sure you already know that we can do select min price, which is 20. Alright, so that's max and min. We can also do select, we'll select the average price. Select the average price from products. Alright, so our average price is 176.5. So let's talk about subqueries. And like I said, it's a query within a query, and you can go as many levels deep as you want. I think the absolute simplest way I can show you is just with the arithmetic. Alright, so we'll say select, and before we said 1 plus whatever, a number. In this case, we're going to take off that last number and put in some parentheses, and then write another query. So we'll say select 2 plus 4. Alright, so if we take that and run it, we get 7. Obviously it does 2 plus 4, which is 6, and then adds 1. And we can actually go as deep as we want. We could take that 4 away, put in another query. We'll say select 5, we'll say 5 times 3, and we get 18. Alright, so let's use a subquery from within our table, we'll use the price value again. Alright, so let's say select name and price from products where, and we'll say where price is greater than, and then I'm going to open up another query, and I'm going to say select average price, from products. Alright, and then I'm going to get out of that the parentheses. We should, yeah, that's right. And then we'll say order by name. Alright, so what we did was we're selecting the price that's greater than the average. Alright, so this in itself is a query. This is a single query, and we're using it inside this query. Alright, and I call this one the master query. I'm not sure if that's what it's called, but it's just what I call it. So let's try, let me copy this and then we'll try running it. Alright, so now it's giving us all the products that the price is above our average, which I already forget what it was. I think it was like 176 or something like that. Alright, so that's a good example of a subquery. Alright, so let's do another one that's a little more complicated. Alright, so we'll say select name, and then I want the minimum price. Alright, select name, min price from products where ID in. Alright, so we're going to use the in clause again. And then in here, I'm going to write another query. So in here, I'm going to say select ID from products where the description, like, and then we need quotes, and I'm going to do a %sign on each side because we want to search from anywhere, not just from the beginning or from the end. And what am I writing? Terminal? We want treadmill. Alright, so you can see that inside these parentheses we have a query. So we want to select the ID from products where the description includes the string treadmill. And then out here we're saying select the name and the minimum price from these products. And this is a little redundant. You actually don't need a subquery to do this, but it's just an example of how you could use it. I was having a little bit of trouble trying to figure out what to use to show you a subquery using this database. So let's give that a shot. So you can see what it's done is it's given us the treadmill. I believe there's 3 of them. It's given us the treadmill with the lowest price. That's what that query had. That's what it did. So if we just ran the subquery that we put in here, let me just take this out. Yeah, that looks good. If we ran that, you can see we only selected the ID, but you can see that there was 3 treadmills. Alright, so the subquery just gave us the minimum price. Alright, so that's pretty much it. The math stuff, very easy, but actually there's a couple other things that I wanted to show you as well. Very easy things. We can actually get the version of MySQL. If we say select version, so my current version is 5.6.14. Alright, and you can do something like, if you want to get the date, you can say select now, use the now function, and it gives you the date and the time. So there's quite a few things you can do, other functions that you may want to look up. Obviously the official MySQL site is the best place to find that information. So in the next video I want to talk about grouping.